make sure to say hello. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm Teresa with Teresa Rene Art. Give me just a second. I somehow need to change, let's see. Need to fix it over on the Royal Court. There it is. Okay. Hello, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome. We are going to do something fun today. I'm so excited. You guys, if you're not on my Telegram, I usually send out reminders before I go live. So you can join my Telegram. It is t.me/Teresa Rene Art. Hello. Okay, so for some reason, the Royal Court, it's not allowing me to stream on the Royal Court Art Facebook page, so I think we'll just share it later. It's not letting me go over there. I'm going to try it one more time, you guys. Let's see if it will work. Let's see. Can't change the start time. Okay. Let's see. I don't know if it's going to work. It says I'm live, but it keeps getting removed. I'm not sure what's going on. Anyway, we're here. I'm streaming 4 different places, or 3. Teresa Rene Art on Facebook and also over on YouTube. And I think we're on Royal Court. I'm not sure. It might get deleted. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to do something really fun today. We're going to be doing a gilded bronze panel. And I'm going to show you what I put together, and I'll talk you through what I did. Hello, everybody. I don't see Sue. Sue, are you on? She may not be on. Let's see. Yeah, it's not letting me do Royal Court. So we're just on my page today over on Facebook. Hello, everybody. Hello, Carol. Hi, Anna. Hi, Dana. Hi, Regine. Hi, Linda. Hi, Peggy. Good morning, Debbie. Good morning, Deborah. Hello, Denise. Hi, everybody. I think I said hello. I think I got everybody. If I missed you, then hello. All right, you guys. So we're going to do a gilded panel. It's going to be so fun. I'm so excited to show you this. I did a little practice piece yesterday, and it came out really good, although I can't show you the practice piece because I did it with some molds that are not released yet. All right, so I'm going to turn my camera down. And if you know somebody who should be here, feel free to send us out. And let them know that they should come follow along. All right, so this is what I did. I'm gonna put my glasses on. I made this panel. So this is a 9-inch by 12-inch wood panel. It's like a panel that you use for painting. This is a Da Vinci board. And it is 9-inch by 12-inch. And I got it on Jerry's Artorama, but I think you can also get these on Amazon. Any panel, or wood board would work. A canvas, not so much, because there's a lot of weight here, and a canvas is not going to hold all the clay work that we did on here. So let me show you what I did. First, I used, and this is all IOD molds, you guys. So the first thing I did was with Jovi clay. This is the clay that I use. It's Jovi. I took this mold, and I don't know the names of these, you guys, so forgive me. If I have any IOD retailers on, they can tell you the names. I'm not sure what it's called. Let's see if it says it on here. Yeah, this is Juliet. So this is the Juliet mold, and it's like just a backdrop of roses. So that's what I did first, and it's not quite big enough. So I laid it down in the center first, and then I recast it, and I used a second casting to fill in around. And so I used clay, and then I just glued it all down to the board with heavy body gel. So what I did was I put heavy body gel all over my backdrop and put these molds down. So I put those down, and then I had some, you know, along toward the edges, and then I just took my a little cutter. Well, actually, I just used a palette knife, and I just cut about 1/2 inch along the sides. And then I did the IOD border mold, this one here, this nice rope mold. And then, of course, I've been dying to use her. I have not used her yet. So then, of course, I did her on top. And I did do her in clay because I wanted imperfections in her face. I wanted this to look really old. And then I let it dry completely. And then I went in and I took black gesso and I covered the whole thing with black gesso. Thank you. Thank you, Denise. If you have these molds, feel free to share your links. If you have the black gesso and the Jovi clay and you're one of my retailers, feel free to share your links. Okay. So that's what I did. And I want to turn this into a gilded bronze panel. So that's what we're going to do today, you guys. We're going to start with we're going to try to mix up a bronze color because unfortunately, Pentart does not have a bronze color like ready-made that it's going to work for this. So we're going to have to mix our own. We're going to mix our own with earthy brown, the antique bronze. This is pretty close, you guys, this new antique bronze, but it's a little too red and I need to tone it down some. And then we're also going to use the antique copper. So we're going to mix these 3 paints and then we're going to paint this whole thing with our mixture. All right, so let me get my tool here. Sometimes you got to keep some reinforcements close by if your lids get a little stuck sometimes like mine do. I may have to break my husband out there. All right, so this is the new color from Pentart. This is the antique copper. This is the one that we sent them the color. This is inspired by Nicole from Nicole's Recycled Treasures. And we have some earthy brown. This is going to darken it quite a bit. And then we have a little bit of the antique copper, which is going to tone down some of this orangey. It definitely has a lot of like orange kind of component to it. All right, so let's mix this up and see how we feel about the color. If you have the color chocolate brown, what I'm mixing is pretty close to the chocolate brown and the decor metal as well. It's not exactly, but if you don't have these 3 colors, but you do have the chocolate brown and the decor metal matte, that will work just fine as well. So now it's not quite so bright. It's still metallic, but it's got definitely a little bit more of a bronze, like a dark bronze look to it. I think the chocolate brown is a little bit too light. So if you had chocolate brown mixed with earthy, that would probably work fine. So play around, get a color that you like. It's not rocket science. Just don't be afraid to blend your colors. If you don't have a color that's exact, you know, for the project that you want to do, my point is these blend very easily. So don't be afraid to mix something up to achieve what you're after. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to spray this. Good morning, Mira. Laurel, it is 3 different molds I use from IOD. The Juliet, the Persephone, and the trimmings too. So I'm painting the whole thing. I'm going to cover this whole thing. The reason that I did the black gesso over the top, you guys, is kind of multifold. It acts as a primer so that my paint will go on really, really easily. It also sort of acts like a glue for all these molds because I have a lot of clay work on here. So what it does is it sort of seals all of that clay work together to make it stronger so that it won't pop off over time. And then it just sort of kind of combines the whole project into one singular mass, if you will. And then the other factor is it gives me the darker base for these metallic colors because it's a lot easier for me, since this is going to be a darker piece. It's a lot easier for me to get full coverage, or at least the illusion of full coverage, over a dark surface than it would be if I were painting this over white. I would have to use a lot more paint over white to make it look like this. So I spritzed a little bit. The water is helping it flow a little bit easier. And I've just been really I actually did some research for this. So I've been looking at bronze reliefs. If you Google search bronze reliefs, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. There's a whole lot of them that are just really cool, like in museums. There's even some on eBay. So antique bronze reliefs. Sometimes they're carved out of wood or done with plaster. And they do tarnish a little bit differently than like copper patina does. So we've done copper patina. Today we're going to do a little bit of bronze patina. We're also going to use some gilding. Hello, Stephanie. Welcome, welcome. Y'all do me a favor. I had a post that got like 1,500 reactions and shared a ton of times, and I got a ton of new followers, which is a good thing, and I love that. But I think the book thought that my page was being spammy or something, so it cut my like after that post sort of stopped, it cut my engagement way, way down. So if you get a chance to go onto some of my recent posts and like them or comment on them, I'm feeling kind of, I hate that the book does this. It puts you on a little emotional roller coaster, because it's like some days you can't keep up with all the comments, and then other days it's like crickets. So, and I don't, it's like I tell my girls, like, your self-worth is not defined by the amount of likes or comments that you get. But, we do work really hard on our pages. So if you get a chance to go comment on some of my recent stuff, I would appreciate it. Okay. All right. And I'm glad you're here. I wasn't even sure if they were going to allow me to go live today because it's like I thought I was being silenced. I wasn't even sure. So I'm glad it ended up working out that I'm here. I gotta be careful what I say here. All right, so I'm painted. Let me go ahead and paint the sides as well. And then we're gonna take a dryer to this. And it's okay if some of this black is showing through, because we are going to do a couple more layers of stuff to it. So, and that just adds texture and dimension. So I had taken some like really watered down black gesso and had stuck my brush in there underneath. So I did get under there pretty good under some of these spots. I did, yes, Mara. I used black gesso. I actually did like 2 coats of black gesso because the first one was still showing a lot of white first. And this is all clay. I didn't use any resin on this. This is all done in clay. I probably should have put black gesso on the board first, but I wasn't sure. Like sometimes you start a project and you just don't know what you're going to do, you know? And so it was already primed with white gesso. So I just started gluing my molds down on it. But in hindsight, I probably would have primed the whole board first with black gesso. So I didn't have as much to cover, you know, so I was just covering up molds, but it's okay. All right, so I'm going to push that off to the side. And I did have a little bit of cracking, you guys. So I got some cracking in the sides and also down here in her neck. And what I did was I just took a little bit more clay and I filled it in. And for this piece, I didn't mind the cracking. I actually think it adds to it because it adds to the age, sort of the antique look. Stephanie, the gesso is really thick. So it's like it's also a primer, but it is really, really thick, like a paste. Yes, I did, Mara. I'm sorry I didn't call you back. You're so welcome. Has anybody heard from Sue or talked to Sue? I'm a little bit worried that she's not here. I hope she's okay. Sue LePage is who I'm talking about. Betty, have you talked to her? Is she okay? She's usually always the first one on. Hopefully she just has a life and is doing something else fun today. All right. All right. So I was saving my paint because I was thinking I might need a second coat. Let's go ahead and do one. All right. So anybody have any fun plans today? I think for us, it's going to be another day of being stuck inside because we got a ton of snow yesterday, you guys, and it's a big deal for us. We don't usually get snow. So the kids were out of school and the roads are all closed down. So everybody goes into like panic buying mode before we have snow. All right. So just trying to use up my extra paint. We'll do another dry session. And when you're painting like a lot of detail like this, it's good to get in from a couple different angles so that, because sometimes the white can show through underneath. So it's good to turn it around a little bit. And move it. All right. All right. All right. Good. All right, I'm going to dry one more time. I know, it's so gorgeous. Okay. All right, I think that's good and dry. So the next thing I'm going to do, you guys, is I'm actually going to, with gold leaf, I'm going to gild her, and I'm going to gild the sides. And then I'm going to leave this interior part brown to give a little bit of contrast. So I'm going to get my decor glue tacky. Where is my decor glue tacky? I cleaned up all my supplies yesterday, you guys, so give me just a second. I gotta find my decor glue tacky. I'm sure I would not have put it away, although maybe I did. Decor glue tacky, there it is. Okay. So, shaking it up. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply this onto her face. Theoretically, I didn't need to paint her face in the bronze, but I wanted to just in case I missed some spots. So I'm just going to try to be careful not to get the glue on the panel itself and just keep it on her. And make sure it gets all inside these crevices as well. So I just finished a I really like historical fiction, you guys, and I love historical fiction about art, like art heists and art history, or famous paintings or something. So I actually just finished one by Laura Morelli called it was The Painter's Apprentice, and it was about a young lady in ancient Venice who is a gilder. So the whole thing got me really inspired to play with some metal leaf. So, and of course this is, it's imitation metal leaf, so it's not like the real kind that the Italians use or anything, but it's about as close as I can come in my workshop. To that. So like the whole time I was like, ooh, I want to break out my metal leaf, my gold metal leaf. And so here we are. And just using a smaller brush for around the edges here. This will dry pretty fast. Okay. Make sure I didn't miss anywhere. It's already pretty much starting to dry. All right. Okay, now I am going to do the sides as well. And if I happen to get any where I don't want it, I can just come back in with the paint color and paint over it. I love this rope mold, you guys. And again, if you're one of our retailers and you have the decor glue tacky, the metal leaf, the paint colors, etc., And also, if you have these IOD molds, feel free to share your links. The paint colors I used, again, are antique copper, earthy brown, and antique bronze. You could also use Decor Metal Matte chocolate brown. For this part, you could also use metal leaf glue. You can also use, I'm going to use metal, the sheets. You could also use the metal flakes. I'll show you. I just want to create some separation between my focal point and the background. And this is something that they would have done anyway back in these times, is they would have gilded over the metals as well. This panel that I have this on, you guys, so this is pretty heavy duty piece of wood. It's a 9x12 Da Vinci panel is what it's called. If you're interested in it and you want me to, I can put the link to it on my Amazon store. Okay, I think I got it there. All right, so let's dry. Hey, Janie. So you know the decor glue tacky is ready. Once it's no longer white, it will turn clear. Oh, Catherine, that would be my dream job. I would love to do that. Oh my gosh. You know, you don't think about these things. Like there's things that you don't know about when you're going to college, or, you know, and you don't think about it. You're only thinking about like short term. So there's so many other avenues I would have pursued. All right. So this is, let me show you guys this before I start putting it on. This is the Pentart metal leaf, and this is the gold one. The other one that you can do, you can use, you can also use the metal flakes. This one is the gold silver, and I actually did this one on my practice piece yesterday, and it came out really pretty, even though it's gold and silver. We also have one that's gold flakes, just gold, but they need to be the metal flakes, okay? The decor or colored flakes will not look as pretty. All right, so these are just sheets. This is imitation gold. It's not real. It does have real metal in it. And I'm just going to lay that down. So I'm going to gently take my brush and sink that in. So I've got a couple spots that I need to work some leaf back into. You can't breathe too heavy when you're doing this, you guys. So basically, once it crumples, it turns into the flakes. So my feeling is that the flakes are like a byproduct of the sheet manufacturing process. I'm sure they get a fair amount of destroyed pieces that they can put into jars and sell. It's still fine to use. Some hairs here. Hi, Yasmin. Happy birthday, girl. Of course, I'm going to use every last bit. And she's got some blonde hairs in there, which we don't want. Let me see if I can get those. Oh, actually, that's their hairs from the brush. Okay. Let's try a different brush. Y'all, my daughter turned 15 yesterday. She said it was the best birthday ever because she didn't have to go to school. She had a snow day. We made her a cake last night. I always keep a emergency cake mix on hand just in case I have to make cupcakes or something for school. So we used the emergency cake mix box last night to make her birthday cake. the plan was is some of her friends were going to come over and we're going to go to Cheesecake Factory. But it did not work out that way. All right, let's see if I have any remnants I can use. I don't think so. All right, so I've got another pack over here. Flip this over. Make sure it's the same one. I'm trying to be sparing because I have just enough to do my project, you guys, and no more. So I'm trying to be careful where I lay it so that I don't get a lot of waste. If you have plenty, you don't need to be so exacting here, but I could not go to the shop and get more because of the snow, which is what I normally would have done. So. All right, so let's lay out. This. So we're just trying to stretch it out a little bit. Okay. It's a little bit of a process, as you can see. Okay. So it's mostly covered. All right. Now I'm going to take a large piece of paper to collect all my flakes. All right, and I'm going to take a soft brush and work that leaf into all the little areas. And I do have some spots that are not covered, but don't worry, we're going to touch those up with the residue that gets left behind here. And I do have 2 more sheets, so I can go back over if needed. All right, y'all, we're getting there. So let's talk for a minute about how to seal gold leaf. Because this has metal in it, you do not want to use a water-based sealer, like a regular water-based sealer. The preferred choice would be the solvent-based sealer because it doesn't contain water that will react. The water basically will react with the metal and cause it to start tarnishing almost immediately. So in the past, you always had to use a solvent-based glossy sealer with metal leaf. However, now that we have Pentart's Pigment Fix, which was specifically designed to work with metals and it is water-based. That is my preferred alternative for sealing this. So Pigment Fix, you guys, is a medium, like a carrier for pigments, but it can also be used as a varnish. So if you, and it is glossy, it does dry glossy. So that is the answer for sealing metal leaf, you guys. All right, so I do have a lot of residual here, but I don't have quite enough to do. Let's see, I'm going to dust this in. I'm going to pick these up and jam that into all these little crevices and stuff here. Make sure all my spots are covered. I have a section down here that didn't get enough glue on it. So I'm going to get my glue and do this little part down here. Like just at the bottom of her form. I gotta wait for that to dry because if I turn on a heat gun at this stage, it's gonna get everywhere. So we still have a lot to do, you guys. So this is, it looks quite beautiful right now, and you could certainly leave it like this if you like this. But for me, it's way too bright and shiny to be an ancient medieval piece. And I really want to capture an old world feeling. So I still have a lot to do to it. All right. And actually what I think I'm going to do, I think I'm going to take these metal flakes, even though there's some silver in here, and I'm just going to start filling in my gaps with these. It's going to be easier than trying to work with sheets at this stage. So I got most of it covered with the sheets, but now I'm just filling in. And if there's not glue there, it's not going to stick. So if you find after the fact, this is a little bit more forgiving than like say velvet powder. So if you find after the fact that you missed a spot with the glue, you can come back in and hit it with some glue. And then reapply the leaf. Okay. You guys have any questions so far for me about what would bronze foil do to the picture? Bronze foil would be beautiful, but I don't have any bronze foil. The closest we have is a copper, which you could do, but you would get a totally different look. So I don't have a bronze foil. I do have a copper. So I went with, you know, I could have gone with a copper, but I chose to do the gold because I like the look of it. And we are going to tone this down as well. So we are going to age it back. All right. I'm getting there, you guys. Thank you for bearing with me. I am going to have to do a little bit of touch up with my decor glue because I did miss a few spots. I'm only going to hit the ones that are noticeable. I'm not going to do every single spot. Okay. All right, and then I've got this spot down here that's ready. Going down at the bottom of her bust line. Okay. All right. I've got a couple spots like right around the around this rope that I want to get, that I think the gap is a little too significant. Like some of these little in-between spots. So I'm just kind of coming back over with my glue and hitting those spots again. And we'll do one more pass. And then we'll be ready for the next step. Okay. Hi, Tony. Welcome in. We're glad you're here. All right. Anywhere else? I am going to hit it with antique gel, which is going to fill in quite a few gaps also. Thank you, Linda. Good morning, Julie. All right. Did I get that one? Yeah. Okay. So let's just take it. And I'm going to hit those spots that I missed. I applied it really thin so it would dry super fast. So I'd just be ready to go. All right. I think we are almost there, you guys. And then we'll do a final dust off. And then we should be good. Okay, anywhere else? All right. Let's dust her off. And I don't want any gold flakes anywhere other than where they're supposed to be. And I want the ones that are on the piece mashed down in there and not loose. So this is the final step of dusting off. And you may find that when you do that, you have to repair. Like down here in her chin. And I don't want any loose metal leaves in my roses anywhere, because that's going to look unnatural. fix her chin. All right, so I think that looks pretty good. I think I'm ready to seal it. So now, bye, Moma. Hello, Kathleen. So now what I'm going to do before I do anything further is I want to make sure that leaf is on there nice and solid and that it's not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to seal this with Pigment Fix. And we kind of already talked about what your options for sealing are. And I think we agree Pigment Fix is going to be the best. Before I do that, though, I got a couple little spots I need to touch up. That's a bad idea. On the bronze part. Let's put this off to the side. If you have like a little vacuum cleaner or something, that would be a good idea to sweep up. I will be seeing metal leaf here for days and days and days. I got a little bit of the color left on my plate here. So I'm going to come around basically with a little bit of the paint still. And I'm just camouflaging. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to seal this with Pigment Fix. I'm going to dust it off actually one more time over my trash can. And I'm just going to use a really soft fan brush. This fan brush. So I'm off camera. I'm just dusting it off with my fan brush, just to get any loose particles. And I'm just right over my trash can here. I don't want any loose particles hanging around. Okay. Okay. So now I am going to take my Pigment Fix. Which works beautifully over metal leaf, and we're going to seal it with Pigment Fix before we continue. And that's going to just make sure everything is secured and it's not going to rub off once I start applying antiquing gel. This is, like I said, this is the best sealer that I have found for metal leaf, because it doesn't, like, even the solvent-based varnish, you guys, it actually makes the metal leaf really dull. So this is the best one that I found that doesn't affect the luster of the metal leaf. It really does a good job in preserving it. And I'm going to go ahead and run some sealer over my paintwork as well. So if you learned something new today, it should be that Pigment Fix can also be used as a glossy varnish. Yep, you sure can. Okay. So before I move on, I need to make sure this is good and dry. So we're going to spend a little bit of time with the heat gun. Okay. Make sure to do the sides. Okay. Do I have it everywhere? I think so. All right, let's dry. Thank you, buddy. and it's drying like super fast, and it's not sticky. So it's such a Pigment Fix has got to be one of my favorite products, you guys. It's not sticky at all. How many of you guys have these molds and are going to try this? I'm just curious. This is the first time I've used Persephone, so I've just been waiting for the right project. Okay, so next I'm going to, let me just make sure I'm good and dry. Actually, I'm going to turn it around this way and dry from this angle as well. You could use any background. I just wanted the roses because I wanted it to like a softened effect, but you could do the same thing with like stencil. Dana, I just wanted to do something different than what everybody else was doing. So I wanted her to be really special. So I just waited, you know, until the inspiration struck me. So I get a lot of inspiration from reading. So this isn't something I necessarily saw. It was just all the gilding talk in my book came up, and I was like, oh, Persephone should be gilded. Okay. Ideally, you'd let this kind of sit and dry overnight, but this is real life here. So, all right. So now we're going to take brown antiquing gel, and I'm going to spray the whole thing with water and get some brown antiquing gel. And we're going to work this in all over the piece, you guys. So don't panic. Don't panic. I know we have a tendency to panic. Let me just go ahead and do her first. All right. And this is going to do two things. It's going to age her back, but it's also going to bring out some of that detail. And it's also going to tie the whole composition together. And I'm just sort of blotting. Okay, so let's continue. We're going to go ahead and keep going all over the rest. Around the sides as well. And down in the cracks of this relief work. And this is why I sealed it first, because I'm doing a lot of rubbing and water misting, and I don't want to mess up my gilding work that I worked so hard on. So I'm just sort of gradually trying to buff some spots back to life here. All right, let's continue on this side. Okay. I agree. And it's harmonious. So you have, you know, kind of the same, it feels like it's all one composition now, and not like we just glued a figure onto a background. But we're not done, so hang with me. But you can sort of see it starting to transpire, or transform, I guess I should say. All right, so let's put this in and let's dry this. Definitely, Betty. Yes, Donna. If you have relief molds, oh my gosh, how awesome. Okay. Now I'm going to take this antique copper and we're going to very carefully and gently, very carefully and gently. This is antique, sorry, this is antique copper, which is about the same color as what we ended up with on the gilding. So now we're just going to very gently start to bring out some of the details in the background with a little bit of a dry brushing. They are not the stars of the show, so I'm not trying to go crazy, and I'm not using a gold like a gold wax. But I do want, we did work hard to achieve some of this detail. So I do want it to come forward a little bit. Like I said, they're not the main attraction, so don't go crazy here. We're not bringing them full, full center. We're just giving them enough so that they pop a little bit. And you can tell what they are, because somebody would have really worked very hard to sculpt this background. So we do want to make sure that it gets a little bit of attention. So I'm just taking a lighter color, a lighter metallic, because it's still bronze, right? Bronze is a metal. And this is sort of the natural tarnishing that it would do over time anyway. I don't want the wax because the wax is going to be too bright. I'm doing the paint because I can control how bright I get it here by just using a gentle dry brush technique. And the color that we have in the wax is too brassy. This is the exact right color, and I can control how heavy I put it on. Okay. The next thing that I'm going to do, this is going to be the final thing. I'm going to add a little bit of oxidation. So when bronze starts to oxidize, it does so in a very similar color scheme as copper. So if you guys are familiar with the antiquing paints, the copper, what's it called? The patina effect set. You can use that same color scheme for bronze. So if you do a little bit of research on bronze panels, you will see a very broad spectrum of, you know, and once this is dry, I can actually go back over it a little bit, you know, once it's fully dry, and it's going to pop even more. But I like this because it's understated, right? So it's like most of the bronze panels that you see are not, they're not like really bright or like in your face. So the oxidation can be, it's a very broad spectrum of oxidation. Some of them you can see are like covered in blue, right? That same kind of copper patina blue. And then some of them just have hints of like this kind of green color. I worked really hard on getting the bronze look, so I don't want to cover it up. I don't want to cover it up with that blue, but the sky's the limit. I'm just kind of giving you another idea of where you could take this at this stage. You know, if you really love that blue, you could certainly come in and glaze this again with like the blue antiquing gel. You could do that. You could dry brush it with some blue, but I'm just going to take a little bit of the country green, and I'm doing this. I'm not going to seal this after because the oxidation is going to appear very matte on top of the surface. So it's like a crust that forms over the metal, and it's not glossy. So it doesn't have the same properties as the metal underneath. It's like a tarnish over the top that stays very matte. So I want this to be very matte over the top of the areas that I apply it. So I'm just going to take it, and I'm not putting it everywhere. I'm just going to take this country green, and I'm going to very carefully and gently, actually I'm going to use a different brush. I need a smaller brush, a smaller dry brush. Hold on. I'm just going to take it and very carefully and gently sort of apply it strategically over both the form and the background. And this is giving it a little bit of natural tarnishing. Just to add to the authenticity, you guys, so you don't have to do this at all, but I am going for kind of an authentic looking Italian sort of Renaissance feel. And I want that look. Carefully, right? I'm not doing this everywhere. It's not like, you know, going to completely take over my piece, but it's just accenting enough, you know, to give it that look, that same look. So this is how you can create a 16th century Renaissance panel using the stuff that you already have at home. You know, and I encourage you, like, if there's a particular genre or you're inspired by a particular period, look at some of the artwork or the sculpture or just the things from that time period and think about, with what with the products, with the colors and the techniques, think about how you might go about recreating that look with your own materials. And that's your challenge. That's the challenge that I'm going to leave you with today. To just kind of think about how you might incorporate some of this stuff into some really unique pieces of art that might have some historical kind of context to it. Because a lot of times we just really create like really pretty, it's pretty, right? But, I think that we are approaching a time where remembering where we came from and the history of art really it matters. And it's not, this is not something that you can sit at a computer and generate, right? This is a real piece of art inspired by history. So I think it's important to remember, and to kind of honor past traditions and where we came from. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. I am I'm really happy with the final outcome. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you so much. I know we went a little bit long, but these are in-depth projects that I'm trying to bring to you to give you guys some ideas and things for your tool bag. Yeah, I think so too, but I kept it really soft here, you guys. So I think, I tried to just make it look very natural and soft. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. And I hope you enjoy, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you next week. I don't know what we're going to do next week, but I guarantee you it will be something fun. So thanks again. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.